Good luck. Have fun. So it looks like we have an Sicilian. Okay. So yeah, I had no idea what my opponent would play. I still really don't have an idea. No puzzles during the game. They played a little bit all over the place. Not that much challenging stuff. So I guess I assume they will go for the Maroczy. But I'm still not sure at this point. They also played once here bishop b5, which is not at all a move. But yeah, they had one game here. And I think here they played knight b5, which is not a good move. Yeah. Since yeah, now like they could now play knight b5 which with a gain of tempo, so that would be a way better variation. And if they had done any prep, they had seen this. At least they are not blitzing out, so maybe they didn't prep this that well, since they are this position could be very well expected. The only thing maybe like in the classical lines, I think that's knight f6, right? There are probably maybe still more games of me in the database, but all like multiple years old. And also I guess, yeah, mostly that. I had a funny story once with that, where like some from my OTP club championship, they had found my account and they had done like very extensive prep, like super deep and all, but they just had looked, they didn't look at the times of the games. So at that point I was only playing for a couple of months, maybe in the direction of a year, playing 1e4, but I had way more games than 1d4. So they prepped super deep 1d4. No, I play 1e4, all the prep gone. So that was pretty funny. Since I really... Okay, I make a move. Since I have really not too much, this is just the trio, there's not that much to say about. These are not like logical moves or anything. They even make no sense at all. But it's, yeah, I guess I can say something. The idea is like it looks like I just lost 2 tempi, right? But the idea is that in the long run, white has nothing better than also to lose that 2 tempi by moving the knight back. And I avoid certain lines like this. For mostly I avoid lines where white is playing knight c2, which I guess that's the main thing I want to avoid. But yeah, in this position, of course. Thanks for the follow or something. Can't really say your name. That's since I can't see chat. Yeah, this is by far the, I guess maybe not the most testing necessary, but like while keeping the position somewhat like logical. For example, knight c3 instead is not at all bad move, but I would take. And yeah, I'm really familiar with that structure. Well, my opponent probably will not be, but it's not a bad move at all. But I would be very happy to see that I get an also like interesting imbalance. Well, now, okay, f3. So here the question is, it's always a question, does it make sense to start? I don't think in this position starting with d6 is relevant at all. Also not really sure. Could be that I need to start with a5, a4. Move orders I'm not always certain about. I think I anyway will start with castling, and I think then I want to start with d6 because otherwise they have this knight c5 ID. If I play a5, don't think now knight c5 is already like a move. I think then I just play d6 and probably will not be playing with a5. It feels like then the knight is just. I think a big idea of this knight c5 idea is to get the knight to a4, where it then sort of blocks this pawn and is looking at this b6 weakness. But I haven't created a weakness on b6 yet, so I don't think in this direct knight. So yeah, they are delaying this knight c3 move. Yeah, okay, they now finally go for it, since it's of course the most logical square for the knight to go to. And this is just this very likely getting into very normal Maroczy territory. So now almost certain I will start pushing this pawn. There are ideas with blocking it with e4, which is of course a bit weakening, but for sure also knight e4 is an idea. But that would be that they know this position, and they are like, they're of course not playing slow, but if they would have prepped this, then they are playing very slow. I don't think like it's not that I needed to prep a lot of lines, and this position was very likely to happen on the board. And it's also not that difficult to remember, I think. So I assume maybe this knight b3, since that was quite fast still. Maybe that was still some prep of them. I'm not sure. Okay, they made the move, I think. Rook c1. Not sure what that move is about. Like, it really doesn't make that much sense to me. I guess it's going out of this diagonal. That could be. But yeah, don't see a reason why. Is it like against this plan? Since yeah, for example, I think the most natural move would be bishop e2, which is always most of the time the bishop wants to be on that square. Since on bishop d3 it sometimes runs into knight e5, and also it blocks this file and this semi-open file, so it's not that active, it's just getting out of the way to castle. So that's the most natural move. I think that's probably like the main theoretical move. So like the question is, in which sense this rook c1 maybe. And then after bishop e2, then after a4, knight e4 is a move. And then the question is, could it be that in these kind of lines, rook c1 is more useful than bishop e2, which maybe it is, but I'm still gonna play a5 anyway. Think it's like it's hard to just on the fly gonna find like how to punish this. think maybe this is even online. I sort of that I have in my theory. Since there's some stuff where I play knight b4 attacking this pawn, so maybe that's with this rook c1. So let's say they play now knight e4, that's then knight b4. And then there's some very concrete stuff. Knight e5 instead. Really not sure about what's that about. I'm not rushed into trading here. I guess they have this idea. Or knight b6 also. Oh yeah, I guess what do I do after knight b6? Maybe just rook b8, which is sometimes. But I think I just want a4. The question is this a move? Take. And even this. But yeah, you can see, like, is there any reason to not play a4 here? It's these, I guess, against knight a4, I would play bishop e6. But, so I could maybe go into sometimes in similar lines. But yeah, the main reason is that against knight a4, I don't have this a4 plan, but now I can just do my plan with a4, so I don't see a reason why not to. So bishop b6, I guess I will need to play queen d7. Which is not like the most happy square for the queen, but for now it needs to do. And could be that taking on d5 is better. For maybe taking and then a4. Kinda like that. No, that I'm thinking about it. But then I also make sense of their rook on the save file, so that's a bit my reasoning to not directly do this. But yeah, in general, I'm quite happy to do this, since often we even do it like with the bishop. Of course, not with the knight still on c6, but let's say these two knights were traded. Even then, like losing a tempo, we sometimes still trade here, so okay. So against knight e4, I'm just gonna trade. And maybe even play. Do we play a3? Or do we keep the pawn here? Probably we trade, maybe even take here. And then we even have queen e5 with a check. Of course, they have like the open file. So I need to make sure I can fight for that. So let's see this here. Yeah, there could be always the inclusion with taking on with the bishops. They could trade, I could trade. In general, I like to trade the dark square bishops. Maybe they will want to trade themselves, since then they have always the checks in the back pocket, but I think they keep, for now, the queen prefers to keep it here, since yeah, I don't have a check here. Although the advantage of for me with the queen staying on d2 is now I can force off the queen switch. I'm quite often quite happy with. The only important part is that I can challenge for the c file, which for the moment is not yet the case. So yeah, maybe. Oh, that's maybe. So let's say they just go into the line, right? They trade and take and play bishop e2, trying to complete the developments, and yeah, they will need this other rook to challenge for the c file. And then if I play here, let's say the castle, now I have rook c5. That's a nice idea. And if they instead just go directly in, I also still have rook c5. And I can, that way, they can of course trade. Yeah, there's always, yeah, this pawn also could be sometimes a bit weak. Yes, that line still is probably not that great for me. They probably can play something like bishop e5. That's the one downside. This pawn on a4 has a lot of upside, but in some end games, yeah, it can be a liability. So I need to be aware of that. So okay. My opponent still taking relatively a lot of time in the opening, but yeah, now it's less an issue. Now there's more than enough. Since I am also out of theory here, I'm just still very familiar with positions. Okay, they go for bishop e6. I think here there's not that much to consider. Like, I can't of course lose my queen, and against queen e8 they have knight c7 with a fork, so, and it will be like, it's just a full rook. So although maybe, yeah, I think it will be just a full rook, so I think this is forced. Now there could be some tactics, but if they don't, I guess knight c7 is still an option on the next move, but otherwise, yeah, this knight is hanging, so. But yeah, now sometimes knight b6 could be a thing. But yeah, I think I don't see a move where they can like move the bishop nicely with tempo. There's some idea, like against 94. Yeah, I'm not sure yet, like which, I won't tend to trade knights, but I'm not sure which knight first. Since, for example, in this line, knight here, say take, knight here, they could include this move. Hello. And then, yeah, the thing I have done this intermezzo. But yeah, is that great for me? And my queen is, but yeah, I guess my queen always has e8 once this knight is gone. And I always can like trade it. So yeah, they can drop in this, but it feels like they could be overextending their pieces. I'm not sure yet. I think I just play rook b8 then. And I probably need to play 94. But then against I take. Yeah, that's just not working. So knight c7, I think, might be just losing on the spot. I think they have too much loose pieces after that. And everything is with tempo, so yeah, I just keep yeah, I guess it's probably maybe not losing in the spot, since after knight c7 will be 8. I think they still have knight a1, but yeah, it feels oh, they could have knight a5 actually. No, that no. And then I trade and play b6, and the knight is hanging. So that doesn't work either, but knight a1 they might have. But that's such an ugly move. But yeah, I also misplaced my pieces a bit, so maybe it isn't that bad. Since yeah, this queen on d7 is clearly totally misplaced. But yeah, there would be some funny lines then. Since I was looking at, no, I guess it's not possible, since it's very difficult, this a3 b3 inclusion, and then bishop b2, but the rook still has like squares to stay on the defending this knight, so it doesn't really do anything. Yeah, and also because I don't have square pieces that can defend the c3 square. Okay, they go for this. So I guess they have something concrete in their mind. I don't have much choices except of rook b8. Yeah, again, this... Now that I think I have choices. Knight a... So he take, knight here. Yeah, but my pieces are just too it's combobulated, so is that a word? Like I can't like I can't use the fact that their pieces are a little bit short on squares and tapping over each other. My pieces are tapping more over each other. But yeah, it's like they at some point need to start playing with their kingside pieces. I guess my bishop is this is a bit misplaced. And I guess I misplaced my rook too, but so. But so that's it. This was the only move, right? I think it is. That they don't have any more intermediate moves available, except if I'm missing something big, but I don't see it. I also don't have any, like, my pieces are a little bit funny placed, but they are all defending each other. So even my rook is defended. For example, like, it's not even possible, but if they could attack it, at least it would be only an exchange. My queen is also defended, so there is no pins here. These pieces are, of course, always defended. My knight is solidly defended by a pawn. Well, there, yeah. The bishop is undefended. Yeah, the knight is attacked. And the knight is only defended by this loose bishop. Which I can't attack for the moment yet. So that's their advantage, but... yeah, my queen is also has no squares. So yeah, it's a very funny position in a way. For sure, after knight a1, considering knight e8. Since I want to get... although knight e5 and queen c6 is also on the menu. Making use... although then we have this bishop... although, no, this bishop a7 never works since I take the knight. But I guess if I do knight e5, they just move the knight out. And then whenever I attack the... no, my queen is just misplaced. But yeah, they can also do that against knight e8. So yeah, I think knight a1. Yeah, I'm really not sure about what his position is after knight e1. They have been playing very creatively. Good. Well, doesn't make any sense to sort of keep this knight out of here, since they just have knight b5, even attacking this pawn. That's the advantage of pushing, the disadvantage of pushing this pawn off the board. And it's not that easy to, like, organize my pieces after knight a1. Since, yeah, I'm sort of So it's not that I can open up the king or something. It's not like that. And my pieces, well, like I have like a lot of pieces developed, but and my king's castle, but they are not really doing that much. Not sure about what they are thinking that much. Oh, they go for this. Very confusing. I guess they can take with the queen instead. Wow. Since with taking with the bishop, that just loses against b6, I think. But after this, and even, could it be that my rook gets trapped? This is shit. No, I guess I can get my queen out. And then the rook could be, wow, this line. So let's say this, maybe I think I do this. Although they can take here. No, my queen defends this pawn, at least for now. This, after queen e8, my bishop at least gets open. Although, this could be a problem. Yeah, maybe. So here, queen takes, 98. But yeah, maybe I shouldn't, like, I should be happy with this trade, right? That opens up my rook. So maybe I should just not... They don't have really any threats in this position. So maybe it's time to get... I think I'm gonna go for knight e8. Although they have 95. And now... No, this is not a threat then. Since I don't have just rook e8. And yeah, this... Although, no. 98, 95. After taking, now they maybe have bishop here. Since if they take with the queen, now I have this, which looks kind of nice. I need to be sure that I don't trap my queen, that I don't lose my rook. Which is close to being the case. It's just such a strange position. So many interesting options. No. I was thinking for a second, like here, to like counterpunt them, but they have this 95, of course, which would be a very good way to solve that problem. Yeah, I need to solve these issues, and this isn't doing the job, I think. maybe it could be this and just move the bishop. So take queen here. But yeah, they then now maybe sometimes have c5. If they have c5 and bishop b5 IDs. No, that doesn't feel right either. Also, no, using the pin post. Although, of course, for the moment, I have the pin, but like long term, they maybe could use that. Like, why would I trade a knight that is nicely placed for a knight under him? And if they want to trade and improve my position, be my guest. So now the question is one of these two. And this knight h5 is sometimes a move. Yeah, let's say if they anyway answer him with 95. Yeah, it's not, the knight is not really doing that much on h5 either, but it's at least not blocking the back rank. But it's of course running into g4 sometimes. Yeah. Like, or does it make sense to like start running this pawn? Say you have no moves. But does it do that much running that pawn? And they have, of course, like bishop e2 also. I need to get a little bit more room for my pieces. 95. So 98, 95, e6. Then they need to probably go back. What if I just 98, 95, okay, 8. Still wouldn't be really attacking anything. Only just that whenever I capture, they would be forced to take with the bishop. And the bishop and the queen would be like tethered to that defense. But I'm not seeing... Although, no, that's... Maybe it could be threatening this. It's a little bit sketchy, but it could be. So 98, 95, okay, 8. And let's say they play bishop e2, maybe I can take here. Although, no, I guess I need to take once, and then I could take there. And if they take... Yeah, the question is, like, do they have some tactics on their diagonal? Not seeing it directly. Of course, this knight would be a nice piece, but maybe I can next just challenge it. No, then, yeah, that's a little bit, but maybe on c7 instead. Or just get my queen from this ridiculous square. Is there any tactics? Not seeing tactics. Oi! My opponent not in the game. I can't claim the victory. See, like, I hope, I'm not sure, like, I have seen that I went dark already a lot. Maybe, yeah, it was just because I took quite some time for this move, of course. Okay, they are back. That was fast. Okay, let's see. Who is in Lichess chat? Susie Dent. E, a lot of numbers. Mindworm 64. Peapack, my teammate. Kiter. And Enter, another teammate. And the always anonymous. I'm not sure, like, does Lichess show the more anonymous system? What is anonymy? What's the plural of anonymous? Yes, it's... Is it a noun too? Big question of life. Okay, I have mainly been focusing on the Aragon again. No. Asking about their connection will not change anything, I guess. I have seen that I won a game. I saw all of them. Don't know how or what, since it was not really... I think it was a black game. No, it was a white game, so it was maybe... I checked it in for prep. Where they lost on time. Even relatively early in the game. The open opponent was also like really confused by the time usage. I hope this is not like a problem they have more often. Not sure about where they are from. Like it sounds like Dutch, like klavier is a Dutch word. But I asked them if they were Dutch speaking, but they didn't reply to that. Yeah, I asked them in Dutch and then I asked in English for the to plan the game, and they only replied on the English part. So I assume maybe it's the same in German, I guess. I'm not sure how it's in German. It's even the English word. Yeah, you type. I don't know the English. I'm gonna look it up. Okay, it's also a German word, but it has a different meaning. In German, it's piano, it seems. I guess it has the same origin. Since maybe in Dutch, that's also one of the meanings, I think. But we use it also as... I think he is back. Or they. Sure. Keyboard, of course. That was bad. And we are gone again. Yeah, but yeah, we use it both like as a word for keyboard and for piano. And I guess it was first a word for piano, and then we reused that word when the computer was invented. So I guess knight b5 is also an option, but yeah, knight b5 without me moving the d pawn, then the knight is, it's a nice stable square, but not doing that much more. Guess yeah, after knight b5 I probably will just play rook e8, but when knight on e8 there is no longer knight c7 back. So let's say they take, I think I will take with a queen. Like, it's not sure my rook is better on e8 than on f, not at all, like, even most likely. Yeah, I think the only scenarios where I really want my rook on e8 is exactly when this knight is on d5. So I guess, and yeah, this knight, yeah, this, it was for sure sometimes an option to move this knight away. But this is really a bad knight. But yeah, the problem, I guess for now, this knight is doing a nice job defending the a7 square, so it's not I guess if they move this knight, maybe now I move my knight here, since now bishop a7 is really not a threat anymore. Although I guess we still have knight b6 then, so it still could be. Yeah, no. I think it still is. I think I still want to start with rook e8, maybe later, since this, even without rook on the b file, with rook on the b file it's amazing, this trade for me, but even without, like, I get control over d5, I still, my rook can just go back to the b file, which is quite weak. I guess that's all the main advantages, but there are big enough advantages. And they are just not in time to, like, after, let's say, 95, rook e8, after take, like, they want to move this bishop and play 96, but yeah, they are not in time. So only, yeah, and I guess, yeah, but that's even not possible. After 95, they can't move, and I play rook b8, they can't move this bishop away, since then this knight is hanging. And if they, and if they take, now this knight is hanging. So yeah, the position, I was a little bit unsure, but how to use their unusual play, but that's, yeah, it's mostly, my queen is like a little bit silly, since, yeah, my queen has basically no squares. I have the 8, but the 8 is Yeah, I guess they only would have like sort of a repetition if my queen was on the 8 with this knight. Yeah, no longer, but let's say my knight was here. Like I also sometimes use a lot of time, but I really don't like understand my opponent here. Like for me, okay, they already made moves that I thought were no move. You know, again they go for knight b5, which yeah, I really don't understand. Yeah, I guess they could try to attack this pawn, but yeah. Yeah, they are blocking over there, so it could be a thing. But their pieces are so so clumsy. Think I'm gonna go for rook a8. They lost so much time. Okay, my pieces are still also quite a bit clumsy. Since rook a8 is still not doing that much. I guess it's this idea I said earlier, right? With since now with the knight on b5, it's a lot less scary to give up this bishop. This knight is so far away. Of course, a quick still need to do the quick tactical check, but you don't see anything. Yeah, this sort of feels a little bit a bailout for them for the horrible knight, if I would do that, but yeah, we will see. These pieces are still not making that much sense either. Okay, b4. Didn't consider that. That's a move. Still, now this would open up the A file, so that should be good for me. And the knight on b3 still will not be a great pace if they decide to recapture. Otherwise, yeah, I guess that's just the main thing for now. And then we see from there. This, I think they will take with the pawn. If I would recapture, take with the knight here. Still feels off, but at least their pieces are sort of getting stabilized. This pawn is a little bit offside. I think opening up my hook is the logical way to do it. Yeah, already a lot of moves that I thought were not even candidate moves from them. Oh yeah, I guess they were candidate moves most of the time, but like moves that you are in the first level list of your candidate moves and then you scrap quite fast. That, yeah, still, it's not that their position is a little bit over the place, but I'm not at all like seeing any winning ideas or something like that. Since my pieces are also still a bit over the place. Then knight b3, that would really wreck this pawn structure. And here now at least they have here a sort of a majority going. But yeah, in this case now I for sure want to keep this knight. I of course need to make sure, but yeah, it's never really risking to get trapped. Like in the worst case I can just go back here. Yeah. Yeah, this knight needs to be here to attack this bishop. I guess this, no, no, it's not easy not to make sense of the position. Like this, is this still maybe, and that would sort of force the queen to the fence of the bishop. Can I use tactically that? Like, for example, this is a move, but don't think it's like a great trade, right? Yeah, I could consider it. And now not anymore, I think. Since there's not anything on the A file for me to attack. And after that they maybe just start this plan. And now I removed my defenders and I didn't gain that much about it. The rook is still on the H file, so it's maybe something in the long run. But yeah, then I would need to keep my knight here. Yeah, the advantage of trading here is now at least I gain a square for my knight, but for my queen, but still not really, since after knight d4 I don't really want to trade. Okay, they take with the knight. Guess at least I have now a nice. For now I have a positional advantage, but now I need to coordinate pieces. I have this idea to ask the question to the bishop. Think, and of course I also step into this diagonal, which is a little bit risky. But yeah, where is the bishop going after rook a6? They have, yeah, I guess they have directly c5. No, not take. Yeah, they could have that. But I don't think it's working. Okay, so okay, c5 take. Yeah, no, there is too much hanging. Since they need to capture here with the straight included or not, and then I can just take here, so that doesn't work. Yeah. So after rook a6, I think, yeah, they can of course, defend the rook, the bishop with the queen. Then at least I maybe have this idea. I have then a3. These pieces are... And since then I could have like 92 ideas. Yeah, a little bit. But yeah, the queen feels really misplaced here. Of course they can go back. But then at least now I can move my queen to a sensible square, get my bishop out. I have this. Then I need to keep the knight here, which I don't really want. Of course, I need to consider f5 for sure here. Using the fact that their king is still in the center. Yeah, that's... Of course, they have done queen d5 sometimes. They have... Do I need to be afraid of that? Don't think I need to be. But let's say f5. They can maybe... No, after bishop d3, then I can go knight e5. Of course, they could go back. There. No, I then at least have taken here. And taking here. And the pieces are, yeah, all... But yeah, I use the fact that their king is still in the center. It's a little bit risky. But yeah, anyway, it's often a move. It's not an uncommon break. Like, there are no breaks here anymore, so it makes sense to break here. You could say I don't need to break anymore, I already gained positional advantage, but it's not that big, the positional advantage. I think it's more that I need to make sense of my pieces. f5 opens up this. Sometimes if the knight moves back, it will be sensible. Yeah, advised against castling. Yeah, the only thing is after they have now two knights fighting for d4. So they will sort of gain a tempo here. Yeah, but the moment there is a knight on d4. Now just go here. And yeah, the queen needs to keep defending here. There's so much loose stuff. Guess they can start with queen d5 and then only follow it up with knight d4. No, but yeah, I guess f5. No, then, or I can already trade. Or if they haven't taken. So f5, queen d5, non knight d4 or something. and you need to make sure that they're not tapping their queen. Pretty close. Yeah, I guess that maybe taps their queen. That's no, the queen will just not be tapped, but it will probably win some material, I think. So f5, queen d5 here, knight e4, take. Now e6, I think this is the only square. Also, yeah, in that line, e2 is already in like maybe anywhere hanging, but I can then trade and take here. And yeah, I created some weaknesses there, but still, I think that's a sensible position for me. Also, yeah, I was earlier saying like against queen d5, I anyway have e6. My knight is still here, so d6 is not hanging. So of course the question, if I want to play e6 here, then that weakens this a bit, but yeah, with the gain of a tempo, it could be useful. Yeah, I think f4 looks good. And they are again gone. Don't want to win this game on time. It's of course possible that when I take a reasonably long thing, they then do something somewhere else, but since they always quick back, so I guess they are just maybe watching something on YouTube or something. I hope they are not stream sniping, that would be. But yeah, I guess not. Although, yeah, that would be like a very fancy stream sniping. Like picking exactly the move I say is not a move to that way confuse me. I guess they can take and then play bishop d3. I didn't yeah, that was a bit silly. Should have considered that a bit more. That move order. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, I get my squares for my queen. Not sure where my queen next will go. Maybe somewhere on the dark squares. Yeah, still, this is still a check. It can block. Yeah, no, that still looks not great for them. They then have knight f6. There's then sometimes knight c7. That's... Or maybe just bishop f5. No, that's maybe a better way to attack the pinned piece. Yeah, that looks good. And if after this, if they don't block, yeah, of course they can go back, but then okay, this is probably the more logical way to do it. Here, what was my idea here? I think knight e5, right? Yes, and saying, yeah, this bishop is a little bit overused. Is that a word? Since and then bishop c2 I wanted to take here. There will be a lot of tactics there. But yeah, again, then I will yeah, I'm not sure what I'm saying, but then I attack also the, yeah, that would be a double attack even. That attacks and the rook and the bishop, winning back my piece, so that's maybe just wins on the spot. I guess they, yeah, no, since I attack also the knight, so maybe they can't go in that direction. But then, yeah, if they need to go in this direction, of course they can castle. Yeah, that's a move. But yeah, then I take and take here, I think. So don't, yeah, it was not that the knight had no longer any important jobs to fulfill on c6. Earlier it was like defending a7, but a7 doesn't, yeah, they can put a piece here, but it doesn't do anything anymore. Also sometimes like e7, but it's not attacked. It was attacking a5, but okay. They now play this for, oh, I blundered something. They have this check. I had seen this, of course, earlier, but I missed that it's yes possible. Okay. I guess I no. Good that I saw it still. I saw it a little bit late, but I still saw it at least. But yeah. There's still a lot of tactical options here. Or strategical options. For example, f4 here could be an idea. Like a little bit, sometimes sort of Arkangendian style attack. Just leaving this a very bad piece. Okay, but yeah, let's for sure first check that this doesn't work. But yeah, I think it doesn't do right. Like e6, they just take. And they defend knights. And here they can take with either. Yeah. Oh, it was a bad miss. I don't guess I can go something like here. They can take here. I've done double at check. But yeah, I'm not even sure that's that great. Let's if they No, I think it should be, that should be good. This. So here it's equal material. They just trade. I mean, that's not even that bad. No, the king is kind of vulnerable in that line. And if they go for queen d5, could go e6, threatening this. Or knight f6, I guess. Knight f6 allows knight c7. Well, after e7, how do they defend against knight c4? Like, and trading here. I guess they can just move the knights. Attack this pawn. Oh, well, it's not really attacking it, it's more than half defended. Just let's defense attack here. And then maybe knight f6. Of course, yeah, after e6 they can also move this knight in. It's maybe, now they keep some sort of attack here. Yeah, queen e6, yeah, knight e4 was always, so that isn't me. I guess I have queen c6 here. Taking the bishop. Guess there's no knight there. Oh yeah, queen c6. I guess then there's queen d5. Try to force the trade of queens. How is that? Can do then e6, take, knight goes there. Rook a6. Now rook a6 makes a lot more sense. Yeah, or is it, yeah, the bishop anyway wants to move? Maybe. But yeah, then I can go here. Attack this pawn. Okay, that's going somewhere. Of course, I need to question how afraid I'm from this. Like, going in here, but I have a decent amount of defenders here, so don't need to be that afraid of some sort of attack against my king. Like I have 5 pieces close to my king, and they only have like really these two. Okay, once I kick the bishop, it can I sort of kick it to squares where it's closer to the king, but still not that close. I think this is a logical idea. So it's this sort of simplistic idea. I guess maybe they in the end will be able to play c5. Although then, yeah, it's yeah, and also no. Do I ever like f4? That looks very weakening, right? Yeah. I have no, of course, these still this piece is a bit cramped. Though also, yeah, I guess this protects here. Could have directly played rook a4, attacking this pawn. Maybe that was... No, but I think like more after this, I'm maybe just gonna go knight f6. Or do I trade and play the knight f6? If possibly here. No, I don't really have. Let's have e6. Yeah, maybe I could have done that already. Just on this position, actually. I didn't maybe need to include this one. But I guess it's anyway not bad to have the hook here. But yeah, I sometimes, of course, now bring the bishop to better squares. Also, okay, they go to f2. Yeah, that's at least will block the f file if I open it. So now the question, do I take first or do I do knight f6? After knight f6, I guess here. And that's like that. I could have a strong pawn center, but also like this at least keeps my king a bit more shelter. And the f pawn, the engine quite often likes to have this f pawn, but I feel like, what does it really do? So here, knight f6. This, I'm probably not taking anything. I think I then do e6, using also that my rook defense here. And then I take, I think, on here. Oh, and then there are possible tactics. Taking here, also in a line. But I guess they can take with the king. Yeah, we will see that when it arrives. But it's in the position. I think, yeah, with this little time that I have that their king is in the center, I think I want to use it. I guess I can do this and take with the queen. But then, yeah, I gain a tempo, so. And I can maybe then do something with it. There are, in some lines, ideas with like sacrificing this rook to distract the piece and then have knight e3. Like now, for the moment, it's not really yet there, but it could be somewhere. This knight on e5 is really strong. Yeah, for sure, if like this pawn goes to here, it will be cemented there. If they take with the bishop, knight f6 and go back. Now I think my knight c4 starts to work. Okay, this is just not working, right? Yes, they then need to go back. And then I take, and now this knight c4 stuff just works. My position is a little bit loose, but yeah, now it's in this position it's really useful that my rook is on a6 since it keeps defending the d6 pawn. So maybe it was precise to include that first. For example, let's see for here. Let's say, and of course I always maybe could include it later, but that could be even more precise. But let's say this line, this, e6, now, and go back. Now this pawn would be hanging. So let's say we trade. And okay, they take with the pawn. Oh no, they didn't do that. So where was I? So here, right? So let's say trade. Right. Okay, now they took with the bishop as expected. Think knight f6 here. They could then castle, but then I trade and play knight c4, so that doesn't really work. No, after I trade, now I don't have a knight, of course, anymore. I need to remember that now I don't have a knight anymore on f6. So now again there's this check. So check and then taking with the queen. So yeah, maybe that's their best bet. But yeah, I will have like a monster knight. I have this open file. My queen easily can join nice squares. That position looks excellent for me. If they just castle, let me take on e4. Yeah, I'm not sure yet which the follow-up will be, but I guess, yeah, again, always there is this option of even after castling here, then they again have the queen d5 and I capture them with the queen. At least keeping this f pawn, sometimes being able to kick my knights and keeping the f out close for my rook. But yeah, that's always the problem is then the e2 pawn is hanging, so that's not really working either. So I think castling, take. This is my biggest problem still. all the game, like to get this bishop out. But for now, at least, in fights of lines, at least is protecting the b7 pawn. So there's at least a purpose. But yeah, I of course would love to solve that. And they're getting into danger time with their clock management. Are there any new people here? Mostly the same. Don't think Barbie was following the game earlier. Don't also know like who is teammates of my opponent. They didn't check their team that in depth yet. So they're taking their time. Like that's I feel my 13 minutes is already cutting it very short. Since yeah, this position like earlier it was maybe quite some maneuvering, but this likely will get into a very tactical mess. Maybe I hope a tactical mess where I at least have the better hand, if not objectively then practically. But yeah, there will be concrete calculation. And then at 13 minutes is already not that much, but still all the pieces on the board. You only just traded on the, I guess, now third pawns, which is already a lot in a Maroczy. In which I killed their binds. But yeah, I gave up, I guess, my king safety a bit for it. But even yeah, like this c pawn is a lot less bindy without the support of the b pawn. Again, since I already saw them lose game on time, I'm so afraid. But sure. try out like if they go really close, I think maybe I will give them extra time, since I think it's such a... But I will of course wait very long, since I don't want them giving extra time just because. We are in the reds. Yeah, but also if I now send them, are you still there? Then and that could distract them, so it's also not ideal. I guess I can do it after I give extra time. Since then, yeah, then I have the full right to distract them. Let's check that I'm still here for... Yeah, I'm still here. No. How low do I wait? Like, I'm not sure. Do I need to... Are there like checkboxes? I guess I'm gonna do it, yeah. Okay, I was maybe a little bit too early. It's fast, but now I need to ask, are you still there? I'm gonna... Yeah, but I guess they are not here. I cannot keep doing this, of course. Ah, yeah, I think I'm just gonna let them, and makes no sense to keep doing this forever and ever. Like, I have no clue how long this will take. Yeah, it's just a shame. Yeah, yeah. I'm at least gonna... Yeah. If you are fast here, I would love to finish the game. Yeah, okay, I guess I'm just gonna look with the engine now. Except if there are any like human stuff. But yeah, I think I already discussed a lot. But thinking how... So here was a5 was okay, but like bishop e6 is the better way to do it. Maybe fighting... Okay, but yeah, no, my play was decent at least. Oh, it looks like I just played very good. Although rook e6 was not. So I should have done this plan without including rook e6. Okay. Yeah, I said that was... I realized that after I played it. And then exactly, yeah. I guess, yeah, because now I can take here. Ah, that's nice. Since, yeah, this is of course... Now there are a lot of weaknesses, and if I take with the rook, I can now just take. And after bishop f2, now there is no trade of rooks, I guess. But yeah, this was still good. So yeah, played. Yeah, of course. I was also considering f4, right? But yeah, yeah, it's f4. Yeah, I felt like I had dynamic potential. I correctly understood my dynamic potential of the position. Where f4 is, yeah, I kill my dynamic potential, and I guess you said that. Yeah, was it both directly at every point? Was it bad? Like, yeah. Yeah, this is just very slow, while their play here is very fast, and they have a lot of pieces here. Yeah, of course. I think that's the thing. I think by far the positions I understand the best are my axis structures. I think I have a lot of very good wins in them, and so yeah, I'm like I played a very good game, but it's just such a bummer to finish it like this. Also, not that much to analyze anymore, so I guess we are just gonna leave it here. Hope you still had a good time.